I know two words that will make every petrol head roll their eyes. Car tax. Ugh. Every vehicle on the UK roads has to be taxed. Whether that's a nil value tax for the more efficient cars on the road, like electric cars, or the efficient small hatchbacks like the Fiesta, the Golf, and some of the Igos, it still has to be taxed, even if it doesn't cost you anything. And the scale for taxing cars in the UK is just, it's mind-blowing. It's so complicated with extra charges here and there. It's a job to know exactly what you're in for. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to look at how this is all calculated and how much this would have been to tax when it was new and how much it is to tax now. Yes, they're two very different figures. If you're not already, guys, please drop a sub to the channel by hitting that button down the bottom and stay tuned. So tax, or vehicle excise duty as some people may refer to it as. There's no getting around it. The roads are filled with more and more ANPR cameras nowadays. That's automatic number plate recognition cameras. And they check everything from your insurance to your tax to your MOT, any driving convictions, anything related to that number plate, that will check as you go through the camera. There's no getting away from it. They are literally everywhere. But hey, it's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're a law-abiding citizen, as we all are, you're going to have all those things in place, so it's nothing to worry about. So let's get under the hood of exactly how much this costs to tax, how much it did cost to tax when it was new, and how that works and why they're different numbers. Now this is going to get a little bit nerdy, so try and keep up with me. If your car was registered from the 1st of March 2001 to the 31st of March 2017, you pay one particular band of tax depending on your emissions. If your car was registered from the 1st of April to present, that's the 1st of April 2017 to the present day, you fall into a different set of criteria and that is calculated differently. So let's have a look at those. We're going to start with the 2017 onwards bracket because that's what this car falls into. Now in both scenarios, your car tax, or VED, vehicle excise duty, are calculated based on a formula that either relies solely or includes your emissions. So for this car, it fits in the 2017 onwards bracket. It's calculated on a number of things. There's a sliding scale based on the number of emissions it puts out, which I'll put on the screen now. And it's also based on the list price of the car. What? The list price of the car? Yes, let me explain. In that bracket for the 2017 onwards, if the list price of your car, before any options, before any discounts, was more than £40,000, you have to pay a higher rate of tax. Call it luxury car tax, call it whatever you want. But the long story short, the amount of money for the first year's tax on this is eye-watering. So, based on the emissions, I'll put the table over there again, and based on the fact that this car was slightly over £40,000 when it was new, this car was subject to £2,605 of road tax in its first year. That is staggering. That is a lot of money in tax. So that could genuinely influence your decision when buying a car. Do you buy used, let someone else pay that first year? Or if you're not that bothered, buy new and get on with it. Right, that was horrendous. We've got the first year out of the way, so it's all plain sailing from here. No, you're stuck for the next 5 years, I'm afraid. Not at that rate. It does get a bit cheaper, but you are stuck for another 5 years. Again, let me explain. So, the second payment for this car, based on its emissions and its book value, are £180 a year onwards. Well, that's a bargain, isn't it? What are you talking about? No, not quite. There's a little bit more we need to put on top of that. Because the list price is over £40,000, we're going to get stung again, and they're going to increase the price by another £390, bringing the total price of a year's tax to £579 on this car. Which, hey, that's not the end of the world. It's 48 quid a month or something. When you look at what you've got a gas guzzling 5 litre supercharged V8 spitting out loads of fossilised prawns out the back, it's no surprise you're going to be taxed at that rate. Like I say, 40 odd quid, and I guess when you're in this territory you've got to pay to play. If you wanted something a bit more economical, you'd be looking at a Prius. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. Because we've got the first year out of the way, thank goodness for that, because we've got up to 5 years out the way, we then roll off onto just £180 a year, which, given the age of this car, it's a 2018 car, hopefully I'll be able to enjoy that benefit this year. But let's wait until we see the latest budget, and let's not get into politics on this video. So there you have it. That is the cost of the first year's tax onwards on this car. It's not peculiar to the Jaguar F Type. Any high performance, high value car that doesn't have a hybrid engine in it is going to get stung by the same things, because looking at that table, it's all done on emissions and value. And look, it's no surprise, it's all readily available, it's information that's out there on the Gov UK website, and it's easy to come by, so we know exactly what we're getting ourselves into when we buy things like this. But hopefully it's of some use to you, might influence your decision as to whether you buy new or used, and if it doesn't, at least you go in a little bit more forearmed. Anyway, thank you guys, appreciate you sticking around for yet another video. As always, please do think about dropping a sub down the bottom there by clicking that button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.